Hi dear friends, this is Binisham from Jyoti Engineering College. So today we are going to discuss about conditional and loop statement in PHP. PHP is the most important web designing tool. So in the last days we have discussed how to configure a PHP with your machines. So you can use any type of programming development environment. And in addition to that, you can also work with there are different online platforms are available where you can run your PHP scripts. So here we have an example. This example shows how to embed PHP code in an HTML file. Okay, so far we have already discussed about a independent segment of PHP. Okay, but now here we can see that PHP is embedded with the HTML, and since it is a PHP is embedded in HTML, we need to keep the file name as dot extension. That the name of the extension of this file name should be php.php. Okay, otherwise the file or the PHP preprocessor it will does not identify this particular script. Okay, so we need to keep the script inside the body of this HTML file. Okay, that is the important key, otherwise it is not going to detect. And now you can see that here we have the particular script, and here where we are using the particular HTML tag also, that is also possible within this PHP script. The HTML tag can also execute. So this is expected output for this case. And now I have another situation. It simply shows to work with the to run with the particular PHP script. It does not need any standalone program and environment. Instead, you can use some online interpreters. Here we have an example, W3 School. Here W3 School that supports the PHP online scripting. Okay, so this is a code where this is the interface where you can enter your details. So I am going to make a small change. You can see how it is working. Okay, so this is the situation. Yeah, I have made a small change here, you can see that. So of course it will be updated actually, so no problem. And the code is something like where the structure is HTML code, and inside that body we have the particular script. So you can work with the if you do not have any type of programming standalone programming environment, no problem, you can work with the online interpreters. So it's also possible. Okay, now moving to the topic. So here we need to discuss mainly about conditional and loop statements. So PHP allows to write code that perform different actions based on the result of some logical or comparative test condition, and again these test conditions are written in the form of expressions that evaluate to either true or false. Based on that, certain actions are performed. So there are three different conditional statements which are supported by PHP. They are if else, ternary operator, and switch. And of course the syntax is almost similar to JavaScript and C. So now we are focusing on the first case, that is if else. Of course there are three different variants of the if else. You can see that there are if statement, if else statement, and if else if statement. So actually the first statement, that is if statement, is this is also known as simple if, because here we'll be considering only one part, that is true part or false part. We'll be considering only one part. Actually it is true parts. Okay, so the negative that is the false part is not at all considered. So this is an example of simple if. You can see that this is syntax of this particular if else if statement. Okay, only the true cases is considered. And now this is the another situation. We have if else, that means here true case and false case are considered. So both the cases are considered. So this is syntax. The syntax is very similar to C. Okay, and at the same time we have next if else and again if. That is, it is used to combine multiple if else statements. So this is also supported by PHP. So this is also a very simple implementation, a simple structure for if else. Okay, so now we have the next type of conditional operator, that is known as ternary operator. Of course this provides, it's a shorthand way of writing if else statement. That means whenever we have a combination of multiple if else statement, so that if else statements can be replaced by some ternary operator. So anyway, this ternary operator is represented by a question mark. Okay, and it takes the three operands. So we have a condition to check. The three operands for this ternary operators are something like a condition to check the result of for a true and the result for false. Here we have a now. So you can see that the first case there is a condition, test condition, and then question mark, and then we have a case for true, and then there is a condition, there is a content for the false case. So we can execute this particular case, no problem at all. So I am using Yeah, I have programming development environment, so I am using, yeah, of course you can see that is a Visual Studio Code. So this is a very simple case. Here I am going to work with I'm going to show how to work with this particular if else and simple if and all. Okay, now this is a cases I'm going to take. So I have a statement, I have a variable age and I have set it as 10, and now I am going to consider yeah, I am going to consider as the value something like, so you can see that if age is greater than 18, so I am going to, yeah, matured. So this is a situation I am going to consider only one case, so that is a true case. So age is 10, if age is greater than 18, it will be displayed as matured, otherwise nothing will be displayed. So the name of this file is condition. So you can check whether it works or not. Okay, nothing happens. Why? Because the condition is currently the condition is false case. Currently the condition is false case because age is age is not less greater than 18. So you can make it as 20. Now I have made the variable value as 20. Now you can see that age value is greater than 18, so of course it should display matured. So that is the situation. So let's see how this is going to happen. Okay, yeah, it is displayed. So that is the situation, that here we have considered only a true case. Okay, now we are considering the second case, false case also, that is the if else loop. Okay, so here if else, and if it is matured, it is true, yeah, and if it is not less than 18, you can replace it with some like a child. Okay, just for example. Anyway, so this is the case. So currently the value is 20, you can see that. So if the value is 20, what will be the expected output? Of course it should be matured, no doubt. And if the value is less than 18, for example 10, yeah, what should be the value, what should be the output? The output should be child. So that is the case. And similarly you can use multiple statement, multiple if else can be connected together. So that is what is the importance of a if else. So at the same time, so this same process can be converted and implemented. A simple if else can be replaced with a ternary operator. So here I have a statement, you can see that the same code I am going to convert for as a ternary operator. So like I have a statement like you can see that yeah, this is my variable is $y, where $y where the output of this ternary operator is assigned. So age is greater than 80, and then I have the question, and then my answer is yeah, if it is age is greater than 18, of course it is matured. Of course it is matured, and I'm sorry, a small correction, it is matured. And then I have, otherwise what is going to happen, otherwise it is, I need to display this content. So that is the situation. And finally I need to display the value, the variable y, because the result is handled by the variable y. So this is the case. Here I have, since it's a string, I need to keep it in these cases. So now I'm going to execute this. So currently age is 10, so it is not greater than, so it should be output as child. So let's see, it is, yeah, it is already there anyway. Okay, we can change it, no problem at all. Now I am going to make it as 30. Okay, so output should be matured. Okay, so that is the case. So this is the ternary operator. Okay, so this ternary operator which is going to replace, it is actually a replacement or simple if else. So everything can be placed in a single statement. That is what is meant by ternary operator. Okay, now we have the next case, that is known as a switch case. Actually it is an alternative of multiple if else. So whenever we have combination of if else statement, so that statement can be entirely replaced by switch. The switch case statement, it tests a variable. Okay, that variable may be something like a control expression. It against a series of values until it finds a match, and then executes the block of code corresponding to that particular match. And of course, a default case is also added, which will be selected if no other match happen. And the type of the control expression and the case expression is either integer, double, or string. So these are the three different data types which are supported for this control expression. Okay, so I can have I can execute. I can have an example for this particular case. So here I am taking a variable value. I am making a small change with this code. So currently I have a value, yeah, x. The value of x I have initialized into switch 0. Now I am going to use this statement, my switch statement. So within that switch statement, I am going to give that variable directly, no problem. And then within that, I am going to use different cases like case 0. Yeah, first case. If it is case 0, I am going to display a message like simply I am going to display that message, that is let it be 0. Okay, just for an example as 0. Okay, now, and of course I need to break it. Yeah, and then I have the next cases, that is case 1. Okay, it's a very simple example. It simply shows how this particular if else, sorry, the switch statement works. Okay, and there is a cases. So this is within that I'm going to break. Okay, now I'm going to execute this code. So initially the value of x is equal to 0. Okay, then case is it matches with the 0, and of course we will be getting, we need to get the value of 0. Okay, so I'm going to execute this particular code. Yeah, you are getting a 0, and then I am going to enter another value, that is 1. Okay, so of course we need to get 1 now. Yeah, we are getting. And then next case is, if what is going to happen is the user is entered, or some the output of this control expression, this conditional expression is different than that of these cases. So at that cases we need to add one more code. That code is known as one more keyword, that is known as default. Okay, so we can use the default. So this default cases is considered only if no other match found. Okay, so I'm just making a small example. Okay, you can see how this is going to work. So if the input of this expression is 0 or 1, of course it should display 0 or 1, otherwise it should display no user case. Okay, now currently the value is 1, so you know that of course the 1 should be displayed. I'm going to change this value to some 10. Okay, currently it is going to 10. So what should be the output actually? Yeah, the control should move to the default case. So let me check whether it works or not. Okay, so no user case. So that is the situation. So the switch case, it is a replacement for combination. That is a combination of if else loop, or sorry, if else conditions. And then moving to the presentation. So these are some of the examples, similar examples. You can also work with this. Okay, and now we are moving to the second type of statement, that is known as loop statement. So loops are used to execute same block of code again and again if a certain condition is met. And the basic idea behind the loop is to automate the repetitive tasks within a program to save the time and effort. There are PHP supports 4 different types of loop: while, do while, for, and for each. So by comparing to the other languages like C, you can see that there is one particular looping statement here which is extra added, that is for each. Okay, this is the new thing which is added compared to C programming, and all other things we have the same, and the syntax is similar. Okay, now I have the first case, while loop. Of course, the while loop statement will loop through a block of code as long as the condition specified in the while statement evaluates to true. So this is a syntax. You'll be familiar with the syntax of C language, no problem, same syntax. And now here we have the do while. Of course, it is simply it's a different way, it's a variant of while. Actually, do while is variant of while. With the do while loop, the block code executed once, and then at the end of loop iteration the condition is evaluated, and if the condition is true the statement is repeated. So that is the case. That means here the first is block is executed and then only the condition is checking. Okay, but in while, first of all the condition is executed and then the code is executed. So here we have a term that is while loop can't be considered as a entry control loop. Okay, entry control loop, and what do while is exit control loop. So that is the difference, while loop and do while. Okay, now we have the for loop. Of course the syntax is very similar. So this is also a replacement for while or do while. Anyway, for loop, it repeats a block of code as long as a certain condition is met. So within the for loop we have three cases: initialize, condition, and increment. So initialization, it is used to initialize the counter variable, and of course condition, we have the test condition, and increment, it simply updates this loop counter. So that is the structure of for loop. And now moving to the last case, we have the for each statement. For each statement, of course, it is used to iterate over arrays. So whenever we have a certain array, so we may want to access one by one elements. So in order to use that, we can use this particular statement, that is for each loop. So this is the syntax. You can see that for each, then we have the array, the original array, then the keyword as, and then another variable value. So what is actually getting in all the time, whenever iteration is happening, what is going to happen with the value? The value is value will be extracted, value will be getting each element of this array. So that is the situation. Here we have the simple example. It will get a better idea. So you can, this is a simply a array of string. The name of the array is colors. You can see three different members are there, elements are there. So I am going to use this for each loop where the colors as value and echo value. So what will be the output? It is red, green, blue. So it will continue until end of the array reaches. So that is the situation. Of course, we can have some example to support this particular case. So for that purpose, I'm starting with a while loop. So here I have a variable here, $x. I have $x is equal to some 10. Okay, so now I am going to use the while. First of all, while, so while I am going to use a condition is something like while $x it is less than 10. This is my condition. Okay, if it is less than 10, okay, you can use a bracket. So we need to display that value. We are simply going to display that value. So that is equal $x, and then I'm going to change this content of that x, otherwise it should be an infinite loop. Okay, so this is something like x minus minus. Okay, so what is going to happen with this code? Initially the value of x is 10. So of course we are checking whether x is less than 10. Okay, yeah, whether x is less than 10, but initially it is exit condition. Okay, x is not less than 10. So no problem, we can make it yeah, let it be x 10. X should be less than, let it be 20, no problem. X is less than 20, and I'm going to make an increment operation, no problem. I'm going to make an increment operation. So in a particular case, the value will be incremented and it will cover the value. So what is the output now? What is the output now? Yeah, value initially I started with the 10, so the 10 to 19 I got value 10 to 19. So what is happening when 20 reaches it is the exit condition of this loop. Okay, the same situation can be converted to a do while loop. So it's a very simple process. You can see that for that I am going to make yeah, this is my do while loop. You can see that I will be using the keyword here, do. Okay, so do equal $x plus plus, and here I'll be using a semicolon. That is a difference. I'll be using a semicolon in while. So this is the do while cases. So let us take what is, okay, I'm going to make a small change with this code. So 15, initial value of x is 15, and yeah, we are making a condition, checking the condition x less than 20. Okay, now what will be the output? Okay, yeah, from 15 to 19 we are getting. Okay, so when it reaches 20, there is an exit condition, it will exist. So this is the difference between while loop and do while loop. Okay, now we can work with the for loop. Okay, here I have a case for the for loop, everything is inside this for loop itself. We do not want to make any additional initialization. For I am making situations like for $x, some, yeah, let be I is equal to, yeah, it is C, and of course $I, yeah, that is $I, it is less than 5, and then yeah, it is $I plus plus. So I'm going to loop from 0 to 5. Okay, and within that I'm going to print this. I'm going to print the variable x. I'm going to print this variable x. So now everything is okay. Okay, so this is my code. This is my code now. So you can see that where the counter start with I 0, and of course it will check for less than 5, and yeah, it is true, and then prints. So now I am going to display this case. So the output should be 0 to 5. Okay, sorry, we have some variable, it is undefined variable in x. So how this is going to happen? Yeah, sorry, I just want to print I only, not x. Sorry. Okay, so once again I am going to execute. Yeah, I am going to get the values 0 1 2 3 4. So this is for loop is using for any iteration. Okay, now we need to work with the for each loop. So for that purpose I am considering an array. So let I have an array like $x, which is $x is equal to, I'm making an array. So the array is, I can make a string array, no problem, any array I can make. I'm going to make an array like yeah, this is my array. I have the first statement, the first content of the array, and I have the second content is something like, yeah, I have 2. I can make one more case, no problem. I can make one more contents to this array. So this is my case. Okay, so I have 3 elements or 3 members to the array $x. Now using the for each case I am going to work. So I'm taking the my array, that is $x, equal for each $x, as I have a value. You can use any variable, no problem. I'm going to use the value. Okay, so this is my cases, and within that loop I can simply print the value of $v. Okay, so let's see what is going to happen. So this is a case. I'm going to execute this code, and I'll be getting all the elements of this array is displayed. One by one elements are extracted. Okay, so that is the importance of this particular case. And again, after printing a particular element, I can add a space. So this is also possible. You can use this concatenation operator. Okay, so this is a concatenation operator that can be used. It will separate this output. Okay, so this is the situation. So for each is used to iterate over an array. Okay, so that is the situation. Now we have two statements, that is break and continue statement, and of course the break statement can be used to terminate the execution of a for each loop, or a for each or while or do while loop. Okay, that is the concept break. And of course continue statement is used in loop construct to skip the remaining part of the current iteration but continue execution at the beginning of the next instruction. Okay, I can have an example here. So I'm working with the for loop. So you can have any type of a loop can be you can use. So I have the same examples like $I, sorry, yeah, $I is equal to 0, and of course it is yes, I have the next case. It is $I, I'm going in the condition, test condition, it is less than 5, and then of course $I plus plus. So I'm making a small loop, and within that I'm going to print, I'm simply going to print $I. Okay, so this is my code now. I think everything is okay. Okay, so I am going to just display the index variable, that is from 0 to 4. Okay, this will be the output of this particular code, no doubt. I can execute, yeah, 0 1 2 3 4. Okay, now I am going to apply the break. I'm going to apply the break. For that purpose, within this for loop, I'm going to make a small change, that is if I'm going to use a condition here, if that is if $I, if $I is equal to I have the variable 3. You can use any variable, no problem, any value. So I have used these cases. So if $I is equal to 3, I think I'm going to apply break. So what is going to happen if $i is equal to 3? Whenever the value of the I reaches 3, it entire things will be break, condition will be the loop will be exited. Okay, so let's see what is going to happen. Okay, so you can see that yeah, whenever the value of this index variable reaches 3, the entire things will be exited. Okay, so the break is used to exit from a loop, and at the same time I can use the condition. I can work with the condition also. Condition is used to skip the remaining portion. So the same case I can work here. I have, if I is equal to 3, I am going to use the term continue. You can see that continue. Okay, and yeah, I am going to change this value so that it will make a difference. So it is from I is from 5 to 10, and whenever the value of 7 reaches, what is going to happen? So this is my code. Now you can see that I have index variable I is equal to 5 and condition I less than 10 and I plus plus, and if I is equal to 7, I need to skip the remaining part. That is, I is not going to print. Automatically it has been incremented. So what will be the output? Let me check what will be the output. Okay, so that is the case 5 6. Yeah, start with the 5, print 6, but whenever it reaches 7, of course it continues, it simply skips. So 7 is not going to print, and then again going to loop 8 9, and then when it reaches 10, of course it exits. That is the condition of this loop. Okay, that is a condition. So this is the case. So continue is used to, yeah, it simply skip the remaining part of this iteration and continue the iterations, and break is used to exit from the entire loop. So that is the difference between break and continue statement. So now we have already discussed different looping statement and conditional statement and break and continue statement. So with this I am going to stop this presentation. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.